What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know so I can hold.
Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors have been heating up, man. Washington Commanders are the ones that have been named for him to go. Don, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, looking at the situation, who has the upper hand? The 49ers seem to have the leverage because he's under contract for the 2024 season already because fifth-year option was picked up on the rookie deal. So if they don't get a deal done for some reason, they really don't have to. He could play this final year. They could franchise tag him next year. You know, it wouldn't be to his benefit. He wouldn't be happy.
Oh, no.
You know, Aiyuk is the one that went on social media, so he's pressing the issue that way. He's on a video on TikTok with his college teammate, Jaden Daniels, stating that the 49ers don't want me. You know, so he's pressing the issue from his end that way. But the Niners really don't have to jump on it if they don't want to. They can let it ride another year.
Absolutely. They can let it ride. I mean, how many times have we seen this in the NFL where players want out or players want a contract and the GM says he's not going anywhere, we're going to work it out.
Yep.
Devontae Adams.
And they don't end up working it out and they get traded anyways. So everybody's got a price tag. And I think John Lynch he's not going to be stupid enough not to explore his options and look for the price tag that he's looking for. I'm not saying that dude's worth 2 first-round picks.
I mean,
like a Jalen Ramsey was.
I'll give up 2 first-round picks.
No, I think
I'm Christian Watson.
I think he's worth a first-round pick for sure, and maybe some other compensation from another team. But this is a push and pull effect for John Lynch, and he's one of the best GMs in the league, even though people have questioned him. John Lynch doesn't coach. John Lynch's job is to put the pieces around what Kyle Shanahan wants in that offense and defense, and that's what he's been doing year in and year out. So, like it or not, Brandon Aiyuk, it's a business at the end of the day, and stuff's got to. There's for people that don't know, and I hate getting into the financial side of the NFL because at the end of the day, I don't really care how all this stuff is structured. I know a lot of people make YouTube videos on like breaking down salary caps and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, you really don't know. Stuff changes all the time. Dates come around that you probably don't know about. I'm part of the NFL communications media, like, I guess you could call it portal. So I get to see all kinds of stuff that comes through about salary caps and dates where money gets cleared and stuff like that. Do I ever read that stuff? No. But for the general public that doesn't know that, there is a lot of stuff that goes on the back end that you don't understand. So with that being said, with John Lynch and all the GMs, why Howie Roseman and all these guys are good is because they know what they have to do in a certain amount of time. There's a thing that happens in the financial world, and Don knows about this every quarter. We used to get this big roll-up on how the company's doing that not only is public, but it gets sent throughout the organization. And even before that, every single year, you get a breakdown of what happened in the previous 5 years and the next 5-year plan, and then see where all your metrics match as far as cash flow happens as well. So there's a lot of things that happen on the back end. That's pretty much a long-winded way of saying, like, Brandon Aiyuk, even though he wants his money right now, he might not get paid that. You have a big contract that just happened with Trevor Lawrence, which doesn't necessarily impact wide receivers, but it does impact the market of money and cash flow. And you still have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who just got paid, and a lot of other players that are looking for contracts as well. So Justin Jefferson, for example,
just got the bank.
It just got paid the bank, So again, when I look at his situation, I'm like, do you? It kind of sucks on the other end because I think he probably should have got his contract before Justin Jefferson happened. Because the stigma is if John Lynch pays him anywhere near close to Justin Jefferson money, he's going to be expected to be Justin Jefferson. And now you have two wide receivers on the books with a ton of money that you have to pay out every single year. And you have to expect that both of these players have to play like A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. Just is what it is.
Right.
And I don't think both of them at any given time are going to exactly play like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
No.
I'm not having any bias, but I'm just comparing like two wide receivers that play really well together that always perform. And we've seen it time and time again.
And you got George Kittle.
Deebo Samuel has exactly, and then you have to throw George Kittle in there.
Yep.
And
And
now you have
CMC.
Christian McCaffrey.
Like they got so
and
much
you got the
mouths.
quarterback. You got, and then on the other side of that, you have
Brock Purdy.
Who
Who's
if
gonna-
he has an MVP like season, that's another contract that has to get paid out. And you have Nick Bosa, and what if
Who just got the bank? You got Fred Warner.
and then you have Hufanga who's on that team. What if he comes back and has a breakout season again? And then Travarius Ward, like there's a lot of and Fred Warner, there's a lot of different players.
That's what makes
on that team.
That's what makes Brock Purdy's situation so good for the Niners financially. Because what is it, like league minimum type of money he's making right now?
Yep.
Because of being the last overall pick, which is huge on financial books for those who don't know, because that allowed him to re-sign Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, allowed them to have all the contracts that they have and still be able to afford a CMC, still be able to even be talking about affording guys like Brandon Aiyuk because of that Brock Purdy contract. Now, Brock Purdy ain't going to be on that contract for much longer. So the Niners with Brandon Aiyuk is on a completely different road. And to be honest, I think what's going to happen is I don't think they're going to trade him now. I think it's going to be at the deadline because they're going to want to see what Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowan can do, the two rookies that they drafted. So I think what we're going to see is Brandon Aiyuk's going to start the year off at the Niners. And I truly, truly believe that they're going to trade him at the deadline because of how they went with the draft, how they drafted two receivers in the top 4 rounds with Cowan, Pearsall, and you got to add Deebo Samuel on that. You got to add, of course, Brandon Aiyuk. They got Jennings there, I believe, still too. Like that room, like Dana says, is very, very crowded. And I feel like they're going to wait to see what Pearsall and Cowan can do. They're going to see what they do in training camp, preseason, and the start of the year. And I think when they have their answer now, I think they're going to trade him at the deadline. I truly believe that.
There's one, but what team do you think he's going to?
I think it's going to be a team that could use a receiver, and that I think what's going to happen, I think he could go to that's it. I could see him going to Buffalo. I honestly could.
And what was your pick, Don?
Well, I think if he is going to get moved, I think we're going to see another repeat of Joe Burrow wanting Jamar Chase, and Jaden Daniels is going to want Brandon Aiyuk. I think he's going to pull that.
So you believe the Commanders is imminent?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna throw a curveball in there.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw a major curveball in this whole thing. I look at one team that is in some salary cap trouble a little bit, but they truly don't have. They truly don't have like an all around. They do. They have one, but still, he's so young in his career. They want him to be a superstar, but you need that guy that's going to come in and take the top off. I think that it's a 2 running back league. It's a 2 wide receiver league too. They got to share the load. And I don't see anybody on this team that can share the load and also carry this quarterback that's kind of on the downslope, but they drafted maybe his replacement in a couple years and also has 2 quarterbacks there that are young that could take the spot.
you going New England?
One got himself into a little bit of trouble, and the other one got chosen late in the rounds that we were very high on. and that team is the New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
Mm.
Ooh.
Chris Olave and Brandon Aiyuk together. I'm not saying that would happen, but to me, that's just like when I look at their roster up and down. A.T. Perry, is he really going to be a great number 2 guy? No, he'll be a red zone threat. He'll be a poor man's Plexico Burress the rest of his career. Stanley Morgan Jr., Rashid Shaheed, they want him to be Tyreek Hill so bad.
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson, I don't know. Bub Means was a really good, wide receiver in college. Equanimous St. Brown. We already know what he is. He's a depth chart filler. That is a veteran.
Absolutely.
And then you have the superstar, Chris Olave. You could damn near just say that Alvin Kamara is their wide receiver number 2 because he definitely is. So, and they don't really have a great tight end. I mean, they have Foster Moreau, who had cancer, and he's 3rd on their depth chart. So who really knows how healthy that he's going to be this year? Taysom Hill is cool, but he's too much of a gadget guy. And then Jawan Johnson, I wouldn't never say that he's a true number 1 tight end. So now you're looking at their whole roster like not a true number one, gap filler, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, and then that's it. Yeah. So I don't know. It just makes sense that if somebody and we've seen this happen time and time again where a team just comes out of nowhere that you weren't even thinking about, and they make a move and they're willing to pay the guy. Chris Olave's got some injury issues. He does. Mm-hmm. He's a smaller guy, but Brandon Aiyuk and Chris Olave on the same team together with a Derek Carr as a veteran. But if Derek Carr messes up, having Jake Hayner, who got himself into trouble last year, then having a Spencer Rattler there as well, who's super talented, I think it helps out everybody on that team, to be honest. And I see the Saints being way better than they are right now. Because they're, in that division, let's see. The Falcons are definitely, I think all of us across the board are going to say that they're number 2 in the division. Number 1 in the division is Tampa Bay. I don't even have to know your record predictions. And then the Panthers are probably still dead last. And the Saints are probably number 3 if we had to rank them, right? I don't think anybody. Does anybody disagree on the panel here?
Honestly, Bucks won. Yeah,
you're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I'm like Panthers. They do got good pieces. Yeah, I'll not Panthers. I'm sorry, Falcons. Oh my goodness.
The Raiders are good. They got Trey Tucker,
Devontae Adams,
wide receivers, Devontae Adams. Like they're not going. The Broncos are still trying to figure their stuff out. They got Cortland Sutton, and I think they're just gonna roll with Franklin. The Chargers got all the receivers in the world, and the Titans got a plethora of receivers too. So I don't see any of those teams that Manny mentioned in the chat.
I think
being a spot.
I think all of our teams can go. Like the Commanders, I'll give you. That's a good one, Don, because he did play with him in college, and we've seen teams recently.
It makes sense.
It does. And here's the thing:
played at Arizona State together.
If you want to get rid of a contract, there is a wideout there you could ship away and get some decent value from. It doesn't have to be with the Niners, but you can ship them away. And Terry McLaurin, or of course Jahan Dotson.
Right. Dante, keep in mind Tampa Bay is over under in Vegas for this season for wins is 7.5.
Donnie, want to go?
Us right now?
Hold up. You guys want to go in 3 ways on that?
Absolutely not.
But Manny, Devontae Adams, Michael Gallup, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Guyton, Trey Tucker, DJ Turner. Their wide receiver room is okay with the Raiders. And their issue is who's going to be their number 1 running back and who's going to be their number 1 quarterback this season.
Yes.
Also, thanks, Raiders, for Josh Jacobs. I appreciate him.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Commanders, the Commanders and the Saints are the 2 top spots for me.
I think Buffalo as well, because you got Keenan Coleman, and they did just lose Diggs and Gabe Davis as well. Like they do need a number 1 for Josh Allen, and I think that's going to be more a deadline acquisition. would be Aiyuk to
What
Buffalo.
the thing about the Bills, they're in cap hell too.
They are. And like I said, a lot can happen between training camp and the deadline, and that's when they can shift contracts as well. We've seen teams in the past go from cap hell to being able to make a move at the deadline.
Well, think about this too. I don't know how Brandon Aiyuk is, but his whole career he's played in warm weather.
That
Arizona
is
State,
true.
California.
But
Right.
You go to the Commanders, you're kind of teetering on the brink of some bad weather happening in Washington, D.C. But if you go to the Saints, you're playing in the dome and you're playing Southern teams too. I mean, it is a factor for some people. I'm just putting it out there. It is a factor.
It is. Let's be honest here. It is. But you got to remember, he has played in some colder stadiums before. So it wouldn't be something new. It's just something he would adjust to. And I'm only mentioning this because a Cal guy played for Green Bay and wore a hoodie, and James Jones, man, was a beast in the hoodie. Players can adjust to that as well. He could wear a hoodie like James Jones did as well to help beat the cold.
Yeah, you could.
So I don't look into that more depending on the player adjusts to the cold. It's about how they adjust like with their stuff. We've seen it.
You'd be surprised, Hayden.
Look, I've seen OBJ. I've seen prime OBJ in the playoffs look like ass versus Green Bay because he decided to go shirtless before the game versus Green Bay when it was like I believe in the teens.
Let's put it like this: if you're
so I know the code affects players, but there have been players who adjusted to it.
If they get drafted, or if they get thrown a whole bunch of money, Josh Allen went from Wyoming to Buffalo. That's cold weather states.
I was about to say
Stephon Diggs played at Maryland, then went to played up there in the NFC North, and then went to the Bills. Like
to be fair,
Coleman was forced there.
If we're being honest here with Stephon Diggs, he did play for Buffalo, and they do got it. Not Buffalo, Minnesota to start his career, and they do got a dome, and the Lions also have a dome.
But he had to play Green Bay twice,
and not all of them were in the freezing cold.
I'm just saying, you're not taking. It's not.
I don't
Stephon
get me
Diggs
wrong.
playing in Florida and then going to Buffalo.
No. But a dome is completely different though than playing outside.
Yeah. Yes, Hayden.
Inside.
You ever gotten in your car in a garage and when it's snowing outside versus getting in your car when it's snowing outside?
Hold up. You think I'm a what? Hold up. You think I'm a wuss and put my car inside? Nah, fam. That thing's
no. Let's add insult to injury. Not only is your car outside, but you got leather seats.
What do you think I got now?
Oh,
Trust me. I know.
This man got the. We ain't gonna talk about the car model he got, but he got
he
got one of the old people machines.
It's gonna be comfy when I pick you guys up from Milwaukee next year. I'm just saying.
You picking me up? I'm getting a rental car, sir.
Sir, I'll pick you up and you can get one from up here. Why waste the money on a rental car when we're just going up to Green Bay and that's like nothing?
All right.
I'm just saying.